Hi, it's Lara. Welcome to my channel. I'm officially pregnant, but of course I love to adventure, so I couldn't go 9 months without flying. So we flew to San Diego, California for my mom's 60th birthday. I thought I would make a video on my tips for flying while pregnant, so stay tuned to see how I stayed comfortable before, during, and after my flight. Welcome to my channel where I give you tips and tricks for minimalist travel and adventuring on a budget. So as of now, I'm 30 weeks pregnant. At the time of the flight, I was about 23 weeks pregnant. So these are my 9 tips for flying while pregnant. My first tip is possibly the most important tip, and it is to talk to your healthcare provider before you fly. Make sure that you are medically able to fly. My midwife said it was totally fine because I have a pretty low risk pregnancy and the flight went okay. So always talk to your healthcare provider. It's super important. You do not want to take any unnecessary risks. My second tip is to wear comfortable clothing. And of course, this is a pretty generic tip for traveling in general, but especially when you're pregnant, you're just uncomfortable on a general basis, and so you want to wear comfortable clothing so that you can be as comfortable as possible. I ended up wearing my maternity leggings that go above my belly and then this dress, and so it was really comfortable, and I could sleep in this outfit if I wanted to, but it's also cute, and so that's kind of how I try to, dress in general, but especially when I'm flying. And I always bring a sweatshirt or a zip-up hoodie because my temperature fluctuates a lot. And I also find planes to be generally on the colder side, so I always need to be able to bundle up if possible. This brings me to my next tip though, which is to bring a sarong. And I always bring a sarong when I travel, but especially when you fly, because a sarong is really great. It acts kind of like a blanket, or you can use it as a shawl, so you can cover any part of your body that you need. And between the sarong and my zip-up hoodie, I was able to stay warm. And this flight, I got hot and cold multiple times, so I was layering on and off through this flight. It was only 2.5 hours long, and I still just needed, to be able to change the layers throughout it. So I just like to have that flexibility. So always bring a hoodie and a sarong on your flight. And then my next tip, also when it comes to clothing, I always wear compression stockings when I fly. Compression stockings are pretty useful for pregnancy just on a daily basis. They really help prevent pain for me. And so especially when you're flying, you aren't moving as much and you're sitting down for a lot of the time. And so compression stockings are super useful for that. I'm going to link the ones I use in the description below. And my next tip is to bring snacks. One time I did not have snacks and our plane got delayed and we went so long without eating that I was miserable. So I have learned my lesson, and I always bring snacks when I fly. But then when you're pregnant, it's really easy to get bloated and just uncomfortable. And so you want to make sure that you're bringing snacks that are good for you and that don't cause bloating. So some of my favorite plane snacks are trail mix, granola bars, saltines, food that is shelf stable, and also food that is different flavors and textures, because you never really know what you're going to be craving at the time. At this point in my pregnancy, and also back when I flew, I don't have nausea anymore, thankfully, but I am hungry all the time. But if I eat too much at once, it's hard to breathe and I get really bloated and uncomfortable. So I pretty much just have to eat continuously throughout the day. So I eat a lot of snacks. And it's important for me to eat snacks that are healthy and filling and don't cause bloating. And so I really kind of honed down the snacks that I brought. And then also related to snacks is staying hydrated. And of course, the golden rule is to bring a reusable water bottle that's empty, get it through security, and then once you're through, you fill it up with water at the drinking fountain. And it's always important to stay hydrated, but especially when you're pregnant, we want to stay hydrated, and so always bring a water bottle. And then this transitions into my next tip, which is to get an aisle seat because you want to be able to go to the bathroom as much as you need. You don't want to feel like you should limit your water intake because you might have to go to the bathroom. You want to be able to feel like you can go whenever you need. So that's why I think it's, when you're pregnant especially, it could be useful to pay a little extra if you have to get an aisle seat. That way you can go to the bathroom whenever you need. Our flight was only 2.5 hours long, and I went to the bathroom multiple times on the flight. So I'm really glad that I had an aisle seat. And then related to that, my next tip is to go pee right before the plane boards. Between the plane boarding and the plane taking off, and then before the seatbelt lights come off, it's going to be probably at least an hour before you can go to the bathroom again. And so I always try to go to the bathroom right before the plane boards. That way I don't have to worry about it, and I have a little bit of leeway before the next time I can go. And then my last tip is for when the snack and drink cart comes along, order ginger ale or Sprite. Something about the carbonation really helps the bloating and the gas in my stomach. And so I really like to order that. And it helped. I ordered some Sprite, and it really did help me feel a lot better between the Sprite and the saltines. So a lot of these tips are just generic tips for traveling, but it's especially important when you're pregnant because your body is experiencing so many changes and you're already kind of uncomfortable. And so everything you can do to like mitigate that discomfort is really helpful. Ultimately, it wasn't the most comfortable plane ride I've been on, but following all of my tips by eating my snacks, getting ginger ale, having my sarong, being able to go to the bathroom, like these all really did help the discomfort. And I would have been a lot worse off if I didn't follow these tips. So I definitely think they can help you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video about tips for flying while you're pregnant. I'll definitely have future videos about flying and traveling with a baby, so stay tuned for that. My next video will be a travel carry-on first aid kit, so subscribe to be notified when that comes out. And until next time, stay adventurous.